Ready?
Yes.
Okay. One. Jesus. Okay. Thomas, how's it going?
It's good, man. How are you?
You know what? I'm having a bit of a deja vu.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's the third time we've met.
It's crazy. I don't know how this happened.
Yeah, I don't know either, but it's happened. So, Thomas Griggs, the
Amoeba.
is here. The amoeba.
The amoeba.
I can't remember when I first heard about you, but I do remember seeing you play, and I was like, oh, this is a guy to follow. And it seems like thousands of people have said exactly the same thing. And I guess you just got it. You have the X factor.
Maybe you guys are all just crazy.
Yes. Let me ask you if it's possible for me to officially click like on every one of your effing videos on IG. Like, is there just some button to click? I mean, I really do think if you've not heard all of Thomas's videos on IG, you should go there. And don't know why I'm speaking like a robot. So yeah, you should go to IG and you should go see all of his stuff on YouTube. I mean, seriously, I mean, if you're here, you've probably done all that and you're probably just like trying to figure it out. Or maybe they are texting you for the tabs for free.
I remember that.
Are you sick of people saying that you sound like Tim Miller?
I think that's a very nice compliment. Tim Miller's great. So
Tim Miller's great.
Yeah. I think it's cool.
Tim Miller's great. Oh, you think it's cool?
It's
okay,
cool.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, man.
I think somebody said the same thing about George Benson sounding like Wes, and he was like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I think some people were saying, oh, you sound like Wes, and he was like, that's fantastic.
That's fantastic. I've looked up to Tim for so long, so it's cool. Definitely.
Well, everybody has to look up to Tim because he's so.
He's so dumb.
What is he, like 6'7"?
I don't know.
I think Tim can look down on John Mayer. No pun intended, but I mean, you know, I think John Mayer is only 6'3". Only
6'3".
Yeah. So, what? All the facts you're going to learn in this video, I'm telling you. Let's get down to the nitty gritty and find out, you know, like, when did you start playing guitar?
I got my first guitar at 14. Messed around with it a little bit for a couple years. And I guess around like 16, I started taking it a bit more seriously as something like, oh, this is really, really cool. I found this band, the Fall of Troy, which was like a very huge influence on me. Whatever Thomas Eric was doing in that band, I thought that was like super cool, and I wanted to do that. And it was edgy and hip and hardcore and all that stuff. I was a big hardcore kid. So the Fall of Troy, and then Eric Johnson. I had been listening to Eric Johnson for a long time, and both those things were, you know, it just made me want to like take guitar a little bit more seriously.
And which Eric Johnson records like just gave you the uppercut?
My favorite one is Venus Isles, but then also Avia Musicom. But Venus Isle definitely was like, for the sense of like his compositions are insane in that album. Very, very cool stuff going on.
So how did you like, if those are the first two like huge influences and you were just starting guitar, mm-hmm. how did you bridge the gap, like from beginner to trying to figure out Eric Johnson?
That's trial and error, I guess. I mean, I sat around and just tried to like learn all this stuff, looking up tabs, and then by ear. I had maybe a couple of lessons, but at that point for me, the whole like transcribing stuff that's how you learned. So I just did everything by ear.
And of course, did you come? Well, I'm saying meaning you guys. Sure, you guys are thinking about this. Like, how musical was your family? Did anybody in your family play?
Yeah, my father was a touring guy for a while back in his days, and I think he had like a brief stint with B.J. Thomas, and he tells me stories of like he used to hang out with the Allman Brothers for a little bit.
Okay.
A kind of cool story.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
So your dad's wild, basically.
Yeah, super wild stuff. Yeah.
So you didn't say what instrument he played. I assume he played guitar.
Yes, guitar.
Okay, and did your mom play anything?
No.
Musical anyway?
No.
And of course, I always like asking everybody this because there is this camp of perfect pitch and not perfect pitch. Mm-hmm. Do you have perfect pitch?
Mm-mm. No.
But you do have good ears, obviously, if you were transcribing by ear, and not slowing it down or any of that stuff.
Not back then, no. I haven't been a transcriber for the majority of my professional music career, though. I never really spent time learning solos and stuff. It's kind of like not my thing.
And were you interested in improvisation?
Oh yeah,
back then.
Big time, yeah.
So all the language you learned pretty much was just by osmosis, by listening to it and listening to it and listening to it.
Yeah, listening to it and getting the feel out of this stuff. Like the majority of like my college years, I was not into transcribing, and that's like a thing.
Whoa,
yeah.
Hold the boat. Wait, how did we get from high school to college? So you just confessed you are a music school nerd.
Yes, no glasses, but yes.
Hey, listen. So anyways, as I was saying, so Thomas, I see you perfectly. So you ended up in music school.
Yes.
What was your major in school?
It's called classical studies. I have a BA in classical studies. I had a little bit of a focus on classical guitar, and I was really into theory in college, so that was kind of like another route I was going down.
You didn't do any, like, there was no electric guitar in that school at all. You were a nylon string classical guy.
Back then, yes, yeah.
And obviously those skills have taken you through to what you're doing now. And how did you, like, do you remember the first time you started to bridge your classical and your electric influences together?
Probably with the hybrid picking type of stuff. I've just always been more comfortable on a pick. Mm-hmm. But adding your next three fingers makes a lot of sense. Especially if you're trying.
I would know as a thumb picker.
Oh, you're a thumb picker. Good. Cool.
Wait, you've never seen my videos?
I've seen. I just didn't. I couldn't.
Guys. The interview's over.
The interview's over.
Yeah, so the hybrid thing, I totally get it. Obviously, being a thumb picker, and that's something that seems to like really taken off. Like in the past 10 years, like this whole hybrid thing is.
It's just
it's
easier.
a big deal.
Yeah, I'd say it's easier. You can be more relaxed and not straining and focused on how you're gonna play something. I think for me, when I stumbled on the hybrid stuff, I had less thought of like how am I gonna play this thing, and that all of that was just like gone. I could just focus on like some nerdy stuff in my head, nerdy harmony and stuff like that, instead of like how am I gonna play this, So the hybrid stuff just makes it a lot easier.
And now with Tim Miller's 212 thing, had you hit that yet at that point? Had you discovered that information, that methodology?
It was all around the same time. When I was at UT, I was also studying at the Players School of Music in Clearwater that Jeff Berlin used to own. So I was there and like studying like jazz and jazz styles at that time as well. And then also I was still into like hardcore music and shredding and all that stuff. So I spent a lot of time on the economy picking stuff, like the whole Frankenbali method.
Really?
Yeah, and my guitar teacher over at the Players School was showing me all this like modern stuff, and Tim Miller and Tom Quayle, both those guys, the 212 guys, all that stuff came about. And I remember being like, oh, that's cool, and then just kind of like left it alone. And didn't really do anything with it because I was very invested into the like the 313 stuff, you know, keeping your pick going with the economy picking and stuff.
I have a question about that. I'm an economy picker.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do something about how called like economy picking does not work. Of course, people are going to be like, "What are you talking about? Look at Rick Graham and all that stuff." But there is. I'm wondering if you encountered this. It's very, very easy to not play good time with economy picking. And I believe it's because, I mean, talk about nerding out, folks, but it really does have to do with, you know how you said 313. So from going from tree to the one note on that one string and then the other note and then continuing on. You know, in other words, your pinky, your middle finger, and then your first finger. It's very easy to not control that.
Yeah.
And it's very easy, and I don't mean just to like sweep down like this, but I mean just in a very small amount that puts you out of time for the next note, and then you just can't help to play the following note out of time. And I was wondering if you ran into that sort of thing.
Oh yeah, big time.
I've come up with a way to fix that. But I think that it's the one thing that economy pickers run into. And I'm wondering if that was something when you ran into it and then you tried the 212 thing or Tom Quayle's thing, you were like, wait a second, the time's just gotten a lot better.
I remember that being an issue. I think for me the main thing was like I was tired of everything being picked and sounding abrasive. I guess like everything that, you know, velocity 127 is economy picking to me, whereas like the hybrid stuff with the, you know, you put the legato in it, it's kind of like an up and down line.
It's dynamic.
Yeah, it's a little bit more dynamic, and you're a lot more relaxed too. I can tell like playing economy, there's a lot more tension happening here in the right hand. Which just affects, to me, it affects my thought process. But and then like doing the hybrid stuff, I'm just so relaxed. It's just very easy and tons of room in my head to think of nerdy stuff. So, you know. Do
you ever come across things that you know, a passage that you play that you're like, this needs to be all picked?
Not really. I can't even think of one right now. I'm trying to think of one. Yeah, no, not really. It's just, I think it's just like figuring out how to play something that works for you, because we're all different. So if not picking everything works for you, do it that way. Picking everything works for you, do it that way. You know?
Sometimes the velocity of everything being picked with the economy picking, there's like no substitute. I mean, it is, you're right, it's not only, let's say abrasive is too abrasive of a word. It is like, it's hard, like right. It's really hard unless you're just I don't know, you have to really lighten up
Yeah.
on what you're doing.
It's necessary though, I think, for some, like, you know, those runs when Frank is just like ripping and going basically across all 6 strings. I mean, right there, to me, it was super impactful for me to hear. But everything else, just like linear type stuff, it doesn't just sound too good. It just sounds like instead of like but when you're doing the real angular type stuff and you're just raking that stuff, that to me that sounds cool because there's this like anguish in there. And,
Now, let's talk about composition, or composers really, because you were playing classical music. I know we're jumping all over the place. Like, that's the way it's gonna go. This is the 4th time, so that's what we're doing. We're calling the shots. So you played classical, and obviously you were exposed to a lot of classical composers. Were you playing any modern classical stuff on nylon string?
Not really. The most modern I got was like Andrew York and Roland Deans.
Leo Brouwer, did you get into that?
Yeah, Leo Brouwer. Yeah, that's pretty much it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leo was Leo the most modern out of that?
Yeah, as far as like harmony and tonality, yeah, for sure. But I'd say the most modern in terms of like contemporary, Andrew York, you know. I remember just shedding Sunburst forever, you know.
And then having to perform it.
And then having to perform it, yeah. Being super nervous. Yeah.
So there was a video that I saw that you did that had some Mick Goodrick stuff in it. It was a beautiful thing that you played, and I was thinking, wow, I need to get that Mick Goodrick book. So then I was thinking, wait a second, Mick Goodrick, Boston, Thomas, have you been in Boston?
Yes, I did. I did a year at Berkeley. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's your wallet?
It's gone, man. It's gone. Yeah, I did a year at Berkeley after I got my degree at University of Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got to study with Mick for the full year. A little bit with Tim, and then with Jim Kelly and Kim Perlak. I took a reharm class with Steve Rochinsky too. That was fun.
Oh wow.
Yeah, very, very, very cool.
What kind of impact did Tim and Mick have on your harmonic approach to the guitar?
Just pretty much all of it. I mean, those guys are like the gurus to me. They're like the whole reason for going to Berkeley was to study with my 2 guitar heroes. You know, Tim just being like modern master, and Mick being just the godfather of all this stuff.
The modern master.
Yeah, of the modern master. Yeah. Yeah.
And so a lot of people probably, like people who are your fans, I don't think they know who Mick Goodrick is. They may see the advancing guitarist, but that's probably the beginning and the end of it. Tell us something about Mick, or a lot of things about Mick.
A lot of things about Mick.
Uh-huh.
Mick is like just guitar guru. Really thinks of multiple different ways, I guess, of approaching the guitar and how to tackle the guitar, and just how to get guitar players to think differently, I think. Yeah, he's just me and my buddy here. We always called him like the godfather of guitar and guitar harmony and all that stuff. So, yeah.
And you were playing out of his book, right? Which book was that?
Yes, the 36 pieces for solo guitar or solo fingerstyle guitar.
And can we get that anywhere?
Probably not. Good luck. I'm pretty sure most of his stuff's out of print, except for the advancing guitarist.
So that's like one of the things you look up on Amazon, and it's like $739.
I remember coming home from Berkeley and looking up the almanacs. So the 3 volumes of the almanacs of voice leading.
Mm-hmm.
And I found all 3 of them on eBay, but they're $500 each.
No, did you back to the technique thing real quick, because I was just thinking about it. Did you make any modifications to Tim's 2-1-2? And actually, wait, explain what 2-1-2 is to people who don't know what it means.
Just the organization of notes. 2 notes on one string, 1 note on the next string, so on and so forth. You just keep that pattern going. Yeah.
And have you
modifications? Well, I mean, of course, I learned just doing your arpeggios and just like diatonic messes that way as just straight 2-1-2. But yeah, I mean now it's just I might start with a little bit of that, and then it turns into something totally different. Yeah, so I think that's the most important part, is like learning that thing and then doing your own thing with it, adding extra stuff. Don't just do like that's, you can only go so far. So
do you know what you were doing on February 26, 2013?
I have no clue.
I'll tell you what you were doing.
Oh.
You were sweeping and tapping.
Sweeping and tapping. There you
Sweeping and tapping and sweeping.
Oh, wow. This is one of those old red couch videos, huh?
Mm-hmm, the red couch. Yeah, we won't talk about that couch, but we will talk about what you were doing back then. So you obviously, you have been deep in a lot of different ways and styles of playing the guitar, basically.
Yeah, I guess.
And so what happened to that? Like, where was that in your development?
That was pretty early on, I'd say. That video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was very into, I believe at that point, I was pretty into the, I had an ear for that like neoclassical thing, right? All the sweeping and tapping, just being ridiculous. Yeah.
You're so ridiculous.
So ridiculous.
so ridiculous. Now, so then where does the acoustic slapping and tapping come in?
Oh my God.
I've done some work on you.
Yeah.
I've done some work.
I think that was like around the time I was learning like Andrew York stuff. It's like, there's some different stuff out there, and I think by that time Andy McKee had come out with like drifting, and another guy I was really into was Antoine Dufour.
Oh, okay. Yes.
So yes. I was pretty hip to that stuff, because it was just like, this is like kind of like this classical stuff, but it's a lot different and a lot more challenging. Well, not a lot more challenging, but it's just different, I guess. Challenging in a different way. Yeah, I had a brief stint with that stuff. That was a lot of fun to do.
But when you how long does it take you to digest that and be able to perform it?
Probably took a couple days, maybe. It's all about like time there and rhythm and all that stuff. Just making sure you're doing the slap and the fake kick drum and the snare type stuff. Just on like making sure it's all like lining up. It's almost like you create a grid in your head. Like, I'm hitting this when I'm hitting that type of thing. That all that stuff helps, and then making sure you have good time at the same time and you're not fluctuating. That's the hardest part, I'd say, because your brain is so focused on this on so many multiple moving parts that like just keeping your time straight kind of goes out the window. So.
And can you guess which is the worst thing to do? Yeah, I think somehow you're going to guess this. Rush or drag?
Drag.
Yeah, we talked about this last time, guys, before the meltdown. That dragging is by far the worst thing you could possibly do. Now, I'm sure that some of you are probably thinking like, oh yeah, rushing. No, rushing is, I played in this band, this drummer would rush. No, dragging is the worst thing, especially if the person has rhythmic or harmonic bearing upon you, where no matter what you do, they can just pull you down like a mohair suit in some Colorado rapid.
Yeah.
You are going to sink.
Yes.
And as I pointed out last time we spoke, it's also the last thing the human heart does before it dies. It's the process that you go through in making an Instagram video.
Mm-hmm.
The material is super hard.
Mm-hmm.
What is the process that you go through in preparing it, for learning it, preparing it, and then recording it?
Yeah, it's just like creating like a little etude. Just always wanted to play like hard, nerdy stuff. So yeah, it's just the typical process of kind of like composing something, short little etudes.
Start before that, because composing it already insinuates that you already have the material under your belt. How about the Messiaen mode is like not something that you're going to learn in jazz school.
Yeah, probably.
So start from where you don't know it, and what happens after, like, you discover it and then.
Yeah, discover it and rip it apart, basically. Just fully digest it. Yeah, especially with complex stuff like that. I like to spend a lot of time like getting to know all parts of it, smallest to largest.
How long does that take?
I mean, that's probably never ending. You're always gonna.
How long does it take between? I told you guys in the Enigma with the oblique answers. How long does it take from you're studying it, you're taking it apart, you created this etude, and now you're ready to start recording it for Instagram?
How long
or
does that
YouTube?
Take?
Yes.
It just ranges from like a couple minutes to at most like maybe an hour, maybe. Coming up with something.
Really?
If it's like extra nerdy, yeah.
So that means that, okay, you're talking about the amount of time it takes to make the video.
I'm thinking like coming up with the idea. Like if I'm coming up with something that's like a very dark passage on like Jingle Bells. I think I did a video of that one time. That was just like very dark. That was like I haven't never done anything like that before. So I remember that one was like a little bit harder to come up with. So
you either digest material super quick, or you have worked on it for a long time and then you just are able to come up with the etudes quickly. Is that what it is, or it just comes easy to you?
I wouldn't say it comes easy to me. I think I spend a lot of time. I just try to think about it in a bunch of different ways. I'd say.
Okay, so for the nerds watching,
yeah,
because of course we are not nerds.
Hello, nerds.
Yeah. Isn't there some kind of like hello sign, like that all your nerds universally can recognize? Okay. Okay. What was I gonna ask you now?
I don't know. We started talking about nerds, and I got
okay. Yeah, we just
nerds candy or something. Now.
You knocked me out with this shit. What the quack? Why have you pillaged the Messiaen tree mode?
It's very, very cool sounding. This like symmetrical scales, I think, just have like the coolest sound. That sense of pattern really takes over the ear, and it can kind of like go against whatever harmony you're playing on top of too. That pattern just kind of like grabs hold and just grabs the listener, and that sounds like right, even though it could be like totally wrong against whatever harmony you're doing. I find that stuff is just like super, super cool.
So how would you recommend somebody who's never messed with that Yes. How would you recommend somebody who has never used it to begin using it?
I always start with the idea of like tonal centers or tonic systems, whatever. You know, your equal division of the octave. I think learning that is super important first, to have that idea down and kind of can already, you know, come up with your own stuff that way, and then from there go and learn the scales and put something, you know, learn something that's actually been made before, because all the scales are they're just divisions of the octave with notes in between each tonal center. So yeah, that's definitely where I start. When I started, I learned, you know, like the idea of a three tonic system, you know, like giant steps, and then my whole practicing idea was literally just playing between those three tonal centers.
So, you mean with giant steps?
No, just taking an idea. Like it could be giant steps, but or just taking like a three tonic system, which is an augmented triad, and just playing ideas in between those three tonal areas first, just to grab it, have a good understanding of the division of the octave and how the tonal center thing works.
So when's the book coming out, Thomas?
Ooh, good question. We gotta work on that. Yeah.
I mean, I think that maybe something that can get people going, because I would like to see people playing what you're doing, and I'm sure you would too. And that is how, I mean, I've admonished people for writing to you publicly in a public forum, because that's what I do, folks. Yeah. Saying, hey, bro, where are the tabs?
Yeah.
And of course I would answer back with, hey bro, why don't you figure it out yourself? Yeah. And there's a lot to that. I mean, yeah, I'm kind of being a smartass by saying it, but at the same time, that's how you learn. You know, download the video from Instagram if you have to, and slow that thing down and figure out what Thomas is playing. But I think it would be great to see people trying to, you know, I don't want to say do the Thomas Griggs challenge, but at least learn some of your material might be a good way to get into it, or it might be too advanced. So in your opinion, if it is too advanced, how can they start? Like doing what Tom does.
Doing what Tom does. Woo. How can they start? Learn lots of harmony first, and chord scales. Use chord scales a lot. I basically I look out for multiple ideas for one thing, I guess. What is that term? What, like imposition? You know, that type of thing. Using a bunch of different ideas that don't necessarily fit over something. Kind of like jamming it in there.
Right.
That's kind of like the basis of my thought process with a lot of that stuff. I remember hearing that word, like superimposition. Oh, what is that? You know, that was like a big moment in the Griggly Bear brain. Yeah.
Are you giving private lessons?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you might be hearing from me, but I hope that you're going to be hearing from a lot of people, and that I won't even be able to fit into your schedule.
I'll make, dude, we can do this again, definitely.
Yeah, I need to get a lesson on like income increasing skills.
That's what I need.
Yeah.
Dang.
Musicians join. I think actually I'm coughing now. You said that. Bringing up the word income. It's vodka. Don't worry. So, and that was COVID. So, yeah, I heard that those two like are mutually exclusive. So I'm hoping.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you can take on private students. You have some tabs available.
Yeah, some. I occasionally do that stuff. I'm not getting after it right now. Lately.
You're not tabby.
Not tabby right now, no.
How many takes does it take for you to do one of your posts?
Oh gosh. That always varies. I mean, I think there's been like a couple before that were just so they were just so. I came up with something just so stupid. I remember sometimes a couple of those were like, man, it probably took a couple hours. A couple hours with like giving up in between and stuff too, and like thinking of something different. Yeah.
You mean like a different career?
Yeah, different career. Yeah, go get a pizza job. Yeah.
I know. I always say like take 7,943.
Yeah.
I wonder who's doing it. Rick Beato is probably like, yeah, I practiced in the morning. It only took me like 30 seconds to do this.
Yeah.
He's like that kind of thing. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to know that even though you're the amoeba enigma, that you're actually still human.
Yes, very, very, very human. Yeah.
How can we exploit harmony like the way you do?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'd say look at things. You have to look at things in a multitude of different ways, I guess. If that makes sense. Like one thing can be a multitude of other things.
What are you using to direct you? To again, like for the person who sees those, like really intricate chords, with open string. Well, forget about the voicings, and I was going to actually say open string licks, but forget that.
Mm-hmm.
Just the actual grips themselves. What is there? Is there a book that somebody should start checking out? That could help them develop that kind of harmony, other than just transcribing exactly what you did, which could help them too.
Developing that kind of harmony.
Mm-hmm.
One that really helped me was the Mel Bay's complete book of harmony and scales. I think it's the Brett Wilmot book. Do you know that one?
Mm-mm.
No? I believe it... Oh, it's right here. Mel Bay's complete book of harmony.
Yeah, can we see it?
Okay, yeah, it's Mel Bay's complete book of harmony, theory, and voicing.
By let's Brett see the front. Let's see the front of that.
Yeah.
So. And that really helped you.
Yeah, this is a great book.
Fantastic.
Especially if you wanted to get into kind of like upper structure types of stuff for guitar chords.
And so what after that?
Another favorite book of mine was basically anything by Mick, especially the almanacs. The almanacs of obviously not like there's not much intricate harmony and stuff. It's all about just like voice leading through your scale. But that I think is very crucial to have that book because he goes through all the like possible voicing structures. I guess like all your drop chords. He goes into like extended chords, but still with 4 notes. So like triad over bass note, 1 and 2, and your cluster chords and your 7th sus4 chords. That book, I mean, those books are just insane. Really,
and
really
that's awesome. The almanac books.
Those are the almanacs, yeah. 1, 2, and 3.
I realized that Thomas, who's trying to keep a lot of secrets, is now going to divulge what kind of gear he uses.
Yeah, I have a multitude of things right now. My go-tos right now, amp-wise, is my Bad Cat Cub 40. I have a humongous pedal board full of crazy stuff on there.
And wait. What is on there, Thomas?
All right, I gotta think. I've got a Kingtone Duelist.
And say what they each do, because
Yeah, that's a dual.
you know, nowadays it's so many pedals that it used to be back in the day you just said, you know, oh yeah, I got this, and everybody knew what it did.
Yeah, now they all do a million things.
Jesus.
Yeah, Kingtone Duelist, which is like a overdrive, kind of like just like a beefed up TS9. Trying to think. The Abasi Pathos drive, which I've been using that one as kind of like it's kind of like my gritty, smooth lead tone for my semi-hollow. It's really cool. I keep everything pretty low on that one. The Wampler Dual Fusion, which is that's the Tom Quayle signature drive. And I pair that with that, I have the Horizon Devices precision drive going into that. Give it like a little mid-push. Let's see what else. I've got the infamous Boss GE7, the equalizer. Trying to think what else. Vertex Boost. Mod pedals. I've got the Electro Harmonix Pog 2, which is like a poly-octave generator. Lots of crazy sounds in that guy. The Digitech Whammy with the drop tune, which has come in handy a lot of times when I'm at a gig and the singer says, I want to do Don't Stop Believin' in D. And you're like, oh my god.
It works for that? Like really well?
Yeah, you can set your parameter with the semitones and just play it in regular E, but it sounds like it's D. It doesn't track like the best, but it gets the job done. If it's like, especially if it's something like that where it's like, oh man, playing that in that key without open strings is just it's not gonna work.
And I heard somebody say, yeah, Thomas is an amazing transposer, like any tune, any key. But it's funny, you've never been able to do it without that pedal, right?
It's just all that pedal every time. Yeah, I can only
peculiar.
play in C, and I just show up with that pedal. Yeah.
Yeah, you can never be seen playing live without that pedal.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Yeah, does it get worse the further you get away from the actual key center, or is it like all pretty much? It's kind of like weird. You'll if you ever play through it, you'll feel it and hear it as well. But thankfully, I never really use that. It's just with that one song, because like I just don't want to deal with it. It's just not the same thing.
You know what? I realized I didn't ask you about this.
Sure.
Just to really quickly talk about this, do you have a very big repertoire of songs that you know?
I wouldn't say so. No. I do the whole like local gigging thing, so I know a lot of that stuff. But there's always more.
Wait, so if you're talking about Don't Believe Me, you're talking about what is now termed as classic rock?
Don't Stop Believing?
Yeah, like
Journey.
Like those kind of songs from that time period. Is that what people are listening to in Tampa?
I honestly don't do a lot of that stuff. I do more of it's kind of like I guess more like top 40, more in the like dance side. But I have a band that strictly does like no rock and roll. We do all like R&B hits, like old R&B stuff, and funk stuff. So we try to like, because everyone's doing that down here, all the regular rock and roll beach bar stuff. So yeah, we're doing a little bit more funky stuff in that band.
So people would probably be very surprised to hear that you are playing that kind of thing at all, right?
Probably, yeah.
So like you're playing the whole Motown repertoire and the Stax repertoire and the all of that
Ish,
stuff?
not the whole like repertoire. Like we'll do like in the one band that I'm in that we do mostly like R&B stuff. Like we're doing stuff like we'll do like hip hop stuff. Like we even play "In the Club" by 50 Cent.
Oh, cool.
If you remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some other stuff. Even like God, remember "The Butt"? Remember that
Yeah.
song, "The Butt"? Yeah, some really funny stuff. "Yearning for Your Love." Some Earth, Wind, and Fire. Yeah.
How many
Stuff like
nights a
that.
week are you playing out? Or were you playing out before COVID?
What's funny is like now I'm playing more than I did before COVID. I just picked up a lot of gigs recently. So currently it's every Friday, Saturday, Sunday I have gigs. I also play at
Nice.
church Saturday nights and Sunday mornings as well. So and then
And
we've got the holidays, so we've got the New Year's and we had the Christmas Eve gigs and all that stuff. So.
are you playing like the typical gospel? I do that 'cause
No,
it's
no. The church I would love to. We used to do a little bit of that at my church, but the church I'm playing at now it's mainly like the CCM stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got this flash of this one gospel player picking, like just like mad picking.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna be like, I should have kept the picking chops up. So that's great to hear that you're playing live so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
And soon, like you're gonna have to choose between this rush of students that you have and all of this live playing.
Yeah.
So back to your gear. The guitars that you're using are
Oh my god.
some
Anderson.
other?
I use Anderson guitars and.
Oh God, why did I say?
Meep meep.
Yeah, Anderson guitars and Charvel.
Okay, this
Right
is nerdy. What gauge strings?
10s, yeah, 10 to 46.
Okay,
Yeah,
I won't
it's-
tell you that I'm using 8s.
Yeah, I've heard those are like the best sounding. I mean, I've watched that vid.
Oh.
I'm so like. It's
Wait, did you watch my 8 gauge string vid?
Oh no, I didn't see that one.
Yeah,
No, I didn't know
mine
you did
came out
one.
before Rick's did.
Oh, no way.
folks. Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna. Have
And
to
then I
go
put,
watch
can you
that.
get a good clean sound with 8s? I did 2 videos
Oh,
on
yeah.
8s. And then Rick
Cool.
came out with the same thing. Rick,
Dang.
yeah.
Okay.
Don't worry, I'll
I'm gonna
forward
watch
you
that.
all those videos
Yeah,
and maybe
I'd
a
love
test
to watch
afterward.
that. That's really cool. Yeah, I
Um,
find all that stuff super interesting. I think for me, it's just like a comfort thing. I've been so used to like playing 10s. I think it would be kind of weird to jump over.
I had injuries, so I was just like, you know what?
Mm.
F these injuries. Again, I do not want them. Again, Marshall thing, like, why make the guitar harder than it has to be? So I was
Yeah.
just like, fine, 8s. Now, on my Benson guitar,
Right.
no, it's Benson's gauges, as per what Peter Farrell told me.
Mm.
So you have Anderson guitars. You've covered your pedal board, your amplifier. Any thoughts on the whole Axe Effects thing versus tubes?
I have an Axe Effects, and I recently just got a Helix as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's the modular stuff is like great. I think that's just like the future. Everything's going that way. I purposefully got one just for I'm like really hurting my back with my pedal board. I don't think you can you see this case? No, you probably can't.
Oh,
but I have a
no.
huge pedal board and it's extremely heavy and I'm doing some pretty bad damage to my back and my
wow.
arm lifting that. So with all the gigs I have through the weekend, I kind of want to get my modular thing up to speed so I can use that. Plus most of the gigs are outdoors. I don't want to risk like my boutique board just getting destroyed by the rain.
Yeah, so that's the great thing about having a boutique board. You could build it and then just keep it in your house forever.
Yeah, exactly.
how much, I mean, to obviously to get all of this stuff sussed out, to put together your pedal board, to get your sounds together, to put together the Helix thing, to make all the Instagram videos, how much are you playing per day?
Wow. That's a hard one. I kind of, I definitely slowed down a lot when COVID hit. It was like a time to take a break, I think, for me. I'm really wanting to like step up my practice and playing again. So it's getting back to playing every day and working on stuff. So, but usually it's just all throughout the day. I can't really put a number of hours on it.
So you're playing throughout. You're playing in the morning. You're playing in the afternoon. You're playing in the evening.
Yeah, well, morning. My morning is like kind of afternoon, anyways.
Okay.
So yeah, usually throughout the day. It helps to have students too. You know, I've found great enjoyment playing guitar with students. It's kind of like what I look forward to the most is helping people out with that, and you get to spend all day with your guitar. It's like the coolest thing. So
I like that.
Helps get you out of your own head too. That's a great thing.
Yes,
So.
especially if your head is telling you negative stuff. It's very, very good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's very, very good.
Definitely.
And before I thank you, I really want people to know that you do have some PDFs available, that you do teach lessons,
Yes.
and that you are accessible.
Yes.
Even though you are the Enigma, you are accessible.
Amoeba.
The Amoeba.
Skype lessons, yeah. If you want to take Skype lessons, you can message me on the Instagram.
Okay, and your Instagram is?
It's Griggly_bear.
Griggly_bear.
Yes.
Perfect.
Perfect.
I think that we got it.
I think we did.
This
I
time-
think this was the take.
I think we got it.
Oh shit.
Oh my God.
Oh dang.
Thomas, I see you soon, all right?
Oh, we'll see you soon. Yeah, great talking with you.
Take care.
Yeah,
All the
thanks,
best.
man.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.
I don't know why I lifted this hand up. Maybe